Norway offers two incredible but distinctly different city experiences. Oslo, the cosmopolitan capital with cutting-edge architecture and world-class museums. Or Bergen, the charming gateway to the fjords with its UNESCO heritage and breathtaking natural surroundings. In this complete guide, I'll compare Oslo and Bergen across 7 key categories to help you decide which Norwegian city deserves your visit first. By the end, you'll know exactly which city matches your travel style, budget and interests. Hey travellers, welcome back to Wander Whispers. If you're new here, I create in-depth Norway travel guides to help you experience this incredible country like a local. One of the most common questions I get from first-time visitors to Norway is whether they should focus their limited time on Oslo or Bergen. Having lived in Norway for several years and spent extensive time in both cities, I'm going to break down this comparison in the most comprehensive way possible. Oslo and Bergen are about 460 kilometers apart, roughly a 7-hour train journey or 1-hour flight. Oslo sits at the head of the Oslo Fjord in eastern Norway, while Bergen is nestled among mountains on the western coast. These different geographical settings create two very distinct urban experiences. For each category, I'll give you a detailed comparison and declare a winner based on different travel preferences. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of which city aligns best with your interests. Let's start with architecture and cityscape to get a feel for both cities. Category 1, Architecture and Cityscape. Oslo is Norway's capital and largest city, home to about 725,000 people. What immediately strikes visitors is the city's blend of historic and ultra-modern architecture. The iconic Oslo Opera House, designed to look like a glacier rising from the fjord, exemplifies the city's contemporary architectural direction. Its sloped marble roof invites visitors to walk up for panoramic views of the city and harbour. Nearby, the Barcode project features a row of distinctive high-rise buildings, each with a unique design creating a modern skyline that's transformed Oslo's waterfront over the past decade. But Oslo isn't all modern glass and steel. The 19th century royal palace sits atop a hill overlooking the city, surrounded by lush gardens. The historic Karl Johans Gate, Oslo's main street, features stately buildings housing government offices, the university and the National Theatre. Oslo's neighbourhoods like Grünerløkka offer charming streets with colourful buildings, boutique shops and vibrant cafe culture, showing a more intimate side of the capital. In contrast, Bergen is Norway's second largest city with about 294,000 residents, but it feels much smaller and more intimate than Oslo. Bergen's most famous architectural feature is Bryggen, the historic Hanseatic wharf, with its distinctive row of colourful wooden buildings dating back to the 14th century. This UNESCO World Heritage Site gives Bergen an immediately recognisable and picturesque waterfront. Behind Bryggen, you'll find narrow cobblestone alleyways and well-preserved wooden houses climbing up the hillsides. Bergen's architecture tells the story of its history as a trading port, with many buildings dating back several centuries. While primarily known for its historic core, Bergen also has modern areas and a recently renovated fish market that blends contemporary design with traditional function. So which city wins for architecture and cityscape? It depends entirely on your preferences. If you're drawn to cutting-edge modern architecture, impressive contemporary museums, and a more cosmopolitan urban environment, Oslo is your winner. If you prefer charming historic districts, colourful wooden buildings, and a more compact, walkable city with a distinct medieval character, Bergen takes the prize. Personally, I find Bergen's cityscape more immediately charming and photogenic, while Oslo's architectural innovations are more intellectually interesting. Category 2: Cultural Attractions and Museums. Oslo has earned its reputation as Norway's cultural powerhouse, with more museums and cultural institutions than any other Norwegian city. The National Museum houses Norway's largest collection of art, including Edvard Munch's famous painting The Scream. The building itself is a modern architectural landmark that opened in 2022, bringing together collections previously spread across the city. Speaking of Munch, the dedicated Munch Museum is another must-visit, housing thousands of works by Norway's most famous artist in a striking waterfront building. For history enthusiasts, the Viking Ship Museum displays remarkably preserved Viking ships and artifacts, offering an unparalleled glimpse into Norway's seafaring past. Vigeland Sculpture Park is perhaps Oslo's most unique cultural attraction, featuring over 200 sculptures by Gustav Vigeland in bronze, granite and cast iron. It's the world's largest sculpture park by a single artist and is completely free to visit. Oslo's cultural scene extends beyond museums to world-class performing arts. The Norwegian National Opera and Ballet hosts international caliber performances in its stunning venue. Bergen may be smaller, but it punches above its weight culturally. The Code Museums comprise 4 buildings housing an impressive collection of art, including works by Edvard Munch, Pablo Picasso, and a significant collection of Norwegian artists. Music lovers will appreciate Trolltunga, the former home of composer Edvard Grieg, now a museum with regular piano concerts performed in a concert hall with spectacular views of the lake that inspired many of his compositions. The Old Bergen Museum offers an open-air collection of more than 50 wooden houses depicting life in Bergen from the 18th to the 20th century, providing insight into the city's history and development. The Hanseatic Museum explores Bergen's important role in the Hanseatic League, a powerful trading alliance that shaped Northern European commerce for centuries. When it comes to cultural attractions and museums, Oslo clearly offers more variety and world-class institutions. The sheer number and scale of museums in Oslo is impressive, and you could easily spend a week just visiting the major cultural attractions. Bergen's cultural offerings are more concentrated on Norwegian history and art, with a particular focus on the city's maritime heritage and role in trade networks. So who wins this category? If you're a museum enthusiast or interested in experiencing a wide range of cultural institutions, Oslo is the clear winner. However, if you're more interested in specifically Norwegian culture and history in a more intimate setting, Bergen offers a more focused and manageable cultural experience. For first-time visitors to Norway seeking to understand the country's culture and history, I'd give Oslo the edge in this category, though Bergen's cultural attractions shouldn't be underestimated. Category 3: Food and dining scenes. Oslo has undergone a culinary renaissance in recent years, establishing itself as a destination for food enthusiasts. The city boasts several Michelin-starred restaurants and has embraced the new Nordic cuisine movement. Mathallen Food Hall offers a great introduction to Norwegian cuisine with over 30 specialty shops, restaurants and cafes under one roof. You can sample everything from traditional Norwegian fish dishes to international cuisine with a Nordic twist. Oslo also has an exceptional coffee culture, with numerous third-wave coffee shops serving some of the best coffee in Europe. The city regularly hosts barista championships and takes its coffee very seriously. The Akebrygge and Tjuvholmen areas offer waterfront dining with views across the Oslo Fjord, though be prepared for Oslo's notoriously high prices, especially for alcohol. Bergen's food scene centres around its famous fish market, Fisketorget, which has been a trading centre since the 1200s. Here you can find incredibly fresh seafood and sample local specialties like fish soup, smoked salmon, and the infamous Norwegian brown cheese. Traditional Norwegian cuisine is more prominent in Bergen, with restaurants serving classics like farikal, mutton stew, kjøttkaker, Norwegian meatballs, and fresh seafood dishes that showcase the bounty of the surrounding fjords and ocean. Bergen also has charming cafes tucked away in historic buildings where you can enjoy Norwegian waffles with sour cream and jam alongside excellent coffee. Both cities have embraced the craft beer movement with numerous breweries and specialty bars. Bergen has a particularly strong beer culture due to its history as a brewing city, with local breweries like Seven Fjell and Bergenhus producing excellent craft beers. So which city wins for food and dining? Again, it depends on what you're looking for. Oslo offers a more international and contemporary dining scene with higher-end options and cutting-edge Nordic cuisine. If you're a foodie seeking innovative dishes and Michelin-starred experiences, Oslo is your pick. Bergen provides a more traditional Norwegian food experience with an emphasis on seafood and local specialties. If you want to try authentic Norwegian dishes in historic settings, Bergen might be more appealing. Price-wise, both cities are expensive by international standards, but you'll generally find Bergen to be slightly more affordable for comparable dining experiences. For first-time visitors wanting to experience traditional Norwegian cuisine, I'd give Bergen a slight edge, though Oslo's diverse food scene offers more variety. Category 4, surrounding nature and day trips. This category showcases one of the biggest differences between these two cities, and it might be the deciding factor for many nature-loving travellers. Bergen is often called the gateway to the fjords for good reason. The city itself is surrounded by 7 mountains, offering hiking opportunities directly from the city centre. The Fløibanen funicular takes you to the top of Mount Fløyen in just 6 minutes, providing spectacular views over Bergen and access to numerous hiking trails. From Bergen, you can easily access some of Norway's most spectacular fjords. The UNESCO-listed Fjord and Fjord are accessible on day trips, either as part of the famous Norway in a nutshell tour or independently. The Flam Railway, one of the world's most beautiful train journeys, is a popular day trip from Bergen, taking you through breathtaking mountain scenery with waterfalls and steep valleys. Other popular day trips from Bergen include the charming village of Rosendal with its baronial manor, the stunning Hardangerfjord with its fruit orchards, and the island archipelago of Øygarden for coastal landscapes. Oslo offers a different kind of natural beauty. The city is surrounded by Nordmarka, a vast forested area with hundreds of kilometers of hiking and cross-country skiing trails. In just 20 minutes, by public transport, you can be deep in peaceful Norwegian forest. The Oslofjord has numerous islands that make for perfect day trips, especially in summer. Hovedøya, Gressholmen and Langoyen are accessible by public ferry from the city centre and offer swimming, hiking and relaxation away from urban life. In winter, Oslo transforms into a ski destination with slopes and cross-country trails accessible by metro. The Holmenkollen Ski Jump and Museum celebrates Norway's national sport and offers panoramic views of the city. Day trips from Oslo include the picturesque coastal towns of Drøbak and Son, the historical site of Oscarsborg Fortress, and even the Swedish border town of Strömstad. When it comes to surrounding nature and day trips, Bergen is the clear winner if you're seeking dramatic landscapes, fjords and mountains. The proximity to Norway's most iconic natural attractions gives Bergen a significant advantage for first-time visitors wanting to experience Norway's famous scenery. Oslo's natural surroundings are more subtle but still beautiful, focusing on forests, gentle hills, and the Oslo Fjord archipelago. If you're visiting in winter and interested in skiing, Oslo might actually be the better choice. For most travellers, especially those visiting Norway for the first time and wanting to see the famous fjords, Bergen's location makes it the winner in this category. However, don't underestimate Oslo's outdoor offerings, which provide a more authentic glimpse into how urban Norwegians connect with nature in their everyday lives. Category 5. Weather and best times to visit. Bergen has earned the nickname the City of Rain for good reason. It receives around 240 days of precipitation annually, making it one of Europe's wettest cities. This rainfall contributes to the lush green surroundings but can impact your sightseeing plans. Bergen's weather is heavily influenced by its coastal location, resulting in mild temperatures year-round. Winter temperatures rarely drop far below freezing, while summer temperatures typically range from 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, 59 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The rainiest months are September through March, though precipitation is possible any time of year. When Bergen does have sunny days, particularly in May, June and July, the city is absolutely magical. The light reflects off the colourful buildings, and locals flock to outdoor spaces to soak up the sunshine. Oslo experiences more distinct seasons than Bergen. Winters are cold and snowy, with temperatures often below freezing from December through February. This creates opportunities for winter sports but can make urban exploration more challenging. Summers in Oslo are surprisingly warm, with temperatures regularly reaching 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, 77 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, in July and August. The long daylight hours the sun barely sets in June make summer an ideal time to visit, with locals enjoying parks, outdoor dining and swimming in the Oslo Fjord. Oslo receives significantly less rainfall than Bergen, with precipitation more evenly distributed throughout the year. The driest months are typically February through April. Both cities have seasonal attractions. Bergen's surrounding mountains are lush and green in summer, while Oslo's Christmas markets and ski opportunities shine in winter. So which city wins for weather? If predictable weather and maximizing sunny days are important for your trip, Oslo is the clear winner. Its continental climate means more stable weather patterns and a higher chance of clear days, especially in summer. If you don't mind packing a rain jacket and embracing the elements, Bergen's rain shouldn't deter you. Locals have a saying, "There's no bad weather, only bad clothing." The rain contributes to the lush surroundings and dramatic atmosphere that make Western Norway so special. For the best weather experience in either city, June through August offers the warmest temperatures and longest daylight hours. May can also be lovely, with spring blooms and fewer tourists. September offers beautiful fall colours but increasing rainfall, especially in Bergen. Weather shouldn't be the only factor in your decision, but if you're particularly sensitive to rain affecting your plans, Oslo might be the safer choice. Category 6. Budget considerations. Norway is expensive by international standards, and both Oslo and Bergen will require careful budgeting for most travellers. However, there are some notable differences between the two cities. Let's start with accommodation. Oslo generally has higher hotel prices, with average mid-range hotels costing about 1,200 to 1,800 kroner, $120 to $180 per night. Bergen's comparable accommodations average about 1,000 to 1,500 kroner, $100 to $150 per night. Both cities have options across all price ranges, from hostels to luxury hotels. Dining costs are high in both cities. A standard main course in a mid-range restaurant costs about 250 to 350 kroner, $25 to $35 in Oslo, and 220 to 300 kroner, $22 to $30 in Bergen. Public transportation is efficient in both cities, but structured differently. Oslo has an extensive network of trams, buses, metros and ferries with zone-based pricing. Museum and attraction prices are comparable between the cities, typically ranging from 100 to 200 kroner, $10 to $20 per attraction. The Oslo Pass and Bergen card both offer free public transportation and entry to most major attractions, plus discounts on tours and some restaurants. Both cities offer excellent free activities. In Oslo, Vigeland Sculpture Park, the Opera House roof, and many hiking trails cost nothing to enjoy. Overall, Bergen tends to be slightly more affordable than Oslo across most categories, though the difference isn't dramatic. Budget-conscious travellers should consider these money-saving tips for either city. Stay in accommodations with kitchen facilities and prepare some of your own meals. Category 7. Overall travel experience and vibe. Beyond the specific categories we've covered, each city offers a distinct atmosphere and travel experience. Oslo feels like a confident European capital city that's rapidly evolving. There's a palpable sense of innovation and forward momentum. Oslo's layout is more spread out, with distinct neighbourhoods each offering their own character. Grünerløkka has a hipster vibe with vintage shops and craft coffee. Locals in Oslo embrace the friluftsliv outdoor lifestyle despite living in the capital. You'll see people skiing to work in winter, swimming in the fjord during lunch breaks. Bergen, by contrast, feels like a small European city with a strong sense of history and local identity. Its compact centre creates an intimate atmosphere. The frequent rain in Bergen creates a cosy atmosphere, with warm cafes and museums providing shelter during showers. Bergen has a strong artistic identity, with a renowned music scene that has produced many of Norway's most famous bands. Tourism-wise, Bergen receives more cruise ships during summer, which can make the small city centre feel crowded during peak hours. Choose Oslo if you want to see modern Norway, experience a diverse European capital, enjoy cutting-edge architecture and art. Choose Bergen if you want to experience traditional Norway, immerse yourself in history, enjoy immediate access to spectacular natural landscapes. Neither choice is wrong, they simply offer different perspectives on Norway. In fact, the contrast between these two cities is precisely what makes visiting both so rewarding. Before I give you some practical tips, let's summarize the key differences and make some recommendations based on different travel scenarios. To recap our comparison, architecture and cityscape depends on preference. Oslo for modern, Bergen for historic. Cultural attractions. Oslo wins for variety and scale. Food and dining. Oslo for variety, Bergen for traditional Norwegian cuisine. Surrounding nature. Bergen wins for dramatic landscapes and fjord access. Weather. Oslo wins for more predictable weather. Budget. Bergen wins by a small margin. Overall vibe. Depends on preference. Oslo for contemporary, Bergen for traditional. So which city should you visit first? Here are my recommendations for different types of travellers. If you have only 2 to 3 days in Norway, choose Bergen. Its compact size makes it easier to experience in a short time, and you'll get that quintessential Norwegian experience with historic architecture and nearby fjords. If you're primarily interested in nature and fjords, definitely choose Bergen as your base. The access to Norway's most spectacular landscapes gives it an unbeatable advantage. If you're a museum and culture enthusiast, Oslo will give you more options with its world-class museums and cultural institutions. If you're visiting in winter, consider Oslo for its winter sports opportunities and Christmas markets, unless you're specifically coming for Bergen's unique Christmas atmosphere. If you're on a tight budget, Bergen might stretch your money slightly further, though the difference is minimal. The ideal scenario, of course, is to visit both cities if you have at least a week in Norway. The Bergen Railway connecting the two cities is considered one of the world's most beautiful train journeys, crossing the Hardangervidda mountain plateau with spectacular scenery along the way. A perfect first-time Norway itinerary might include 3 days in Oslo, the train journey to Bergen, and then 3 days in Bergen before flying home. This gives you a taste of both urban experiences plus the natural beauty in between. Before we wrap up, let me share some practical tips that apply to both Oslo and Bergen to help you plan your trip more effectively. Getting to the cities, both Oslo and Bergen have international airports with good connections. Oslo's Gardermoen Airport is larger with more direct international flights. From Oslo Airport to the city centre, the express train takes 20 minutes and costs about 220 kroner, $20, while the regular train takes 23 minutes and costs about 120 kroner, $11. Bergen's airport is smaller but well connected to European hubs. The light rail from Bergen Airport to the city centre takes about 45 minutes and costs 40 kroner, $4, making it much more affordable than Oslo's airport connection. Seasonality. Both cities have distinct seasonal offerings. Summer, June to August, brings long days, outdoor dining and hiking opportunities. May offers spring blooms and fewer tourists. September and October showcase beautiful fall colours. November through March are darker and colder, but offer Christmas markets, Northern Lights possibilities, though rare in the cities themselves, and winter sports. Money matters. Norway is almost entirely cashless, so make sure you have a credit card with no foreign transaction fees. Visa and MasterCard are universally accepted, while American Express has more limited acceptance. Packing tips. Regardless of which city you choose, pack layers and be prepared for sudden weather changes. Even summer can bring cool days, especially in Bergen. A waterproof jacket is essential year-round, and good walking shoes are a must for both cities. Language. Don't worry about language barriers in either city. English proficiency in Norway is among the highest in the world, and you'll have no trouble communicating with locals. When to book? For the best accommodation rates, especially in the peak summer season, book at least 3 to 4 months in advance. This is particularly important for Bergen, where the limited number of hotels can lead to sellouts during the high season. One final tip. Whichever city you choose, make sure to venture beyond the main tourist areas. Some of my favourite experiences in both Oslo and Bergen have been in residential neighbourhoods, local cafes and parks where everyday Norwegian life unfolds. These authentic moments often become the most memorable parts of a trip to Norway. If you found this comparison helpful, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming videos on Norwegian transportation, budget accommodation options, and hidden gems in Norway. Thanks for watching, and whether you choose Oslo, Bergen or both, I'm confident you'll fall in love with Norway. Ha det bra!